Now that we have our API started, we're going to add Swagger UI to the project so we can easily try out our API on the web. Now, this video is part of a series dedicated to developing C# applications on Linux. Along the way, we're getting a better knowledge of how Linux works and how to make our apps truly cross-platform. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel to stay informed of new episodes as they come out, and check out the playlist for this entire series. If you're looking for even more .NET, SQL, and AI training, go to imtimcorey.com. That's what pays for this free content. All right, let's jump over to Linux. And we have here our project. Let's expand this a bit. On our API service, we're going to go to program.cs. We already have mapped out, in our last episode, we did the get all for our tickets. So we already have something on our API endpoint, but we were just calling this manually. Let's change that to use Swagger so we can have a better UI for this. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to right-click on the project, and we're going to add a NuGet package, and let's search for Swagger UI. And we're looking for swashbuckle.asp.core.swaggerui. And we're going to use the latest version, 10.1.7. And now that should be installed. If we go look at the project, we can see right here, let's unpin this now, there's our package installed. So now in our program.cs, we can make our change to add Swagger. Now in .NET, I believe it was it 9 maybe, they took out Swagger as the default. And so in API projects, that Swagger is no longer the default. Instead, we just have Open API. And what this is a web standard which they can then apply any type of UI we want to it because it's a standard. So we could use Swagger, we could use something else. If you prefer a different UI, cool, use that UI. I'm just going to use Swagger because I think a lot of people are familiar with it and it's super easy to use. So to do that, we've got here the mapping. So now down here in our is development, we have our app.map open API. We just need to add app.use Swagger UI. And we'll say options and our arrow. And the options are going to be the Swagger endpoint. And we're going to say that this is pointing to our open API /v1.json file. That's what gets created by the open API mapping. And then we're going to give this a name for our endpoint. We'll say ticket app API v1. So this is our endpoint mapping. Let's put a semicolon at the end here as well. And that's all there is to adding Swagger. Super easy. So we now have the ability to run this. Let's go ahead and save first. And then let's come down here to run. And we'll run and debug this and just verify that, in fact, it does map properly. Those 3 lines are all we really need. That's it. We could do more for configuration with Swagger. We could really tune it in to exactly how you want it. Yes, we're going to take care of that SSL certificate at some point. It just hasn't come up recently. Like, I haven't want to deal with it yet, essentially. Let's paste in our token here. Okay, so our API service is running. Let's click on this, and yes, we know. And it says, hey, we actually zoomed in here. We can zoom out a bit. There's 100% again. And in our URL, we can say /Swagger. And we do. There's Swagger. Our API service is our ticket app API v1. And we have our endpoint, which is just /. We can hit try it out. If we execute, then we get a 200 and says the API service is running. That default message we should probably change since the weather forecast doesn't exist anymore. But then down here, API /tickets, we can try this out as well. We hit execute. When we do, hopefully the database is started. I haven't started the database. I just restarted my computer, so it may take a minute the first time as it starts up that SQL server. So let's wait for that, make sure it's running. Nope, It looks like always read your messages. A network-related or instance-specific error occurred when establishing a connection to the SQL server. The server was not found or was not accessible. Okay, so it says, hey, I can't find this. So what we do is go down to our servers and we wait. That's a database project. Always, there you go, SQL Server. Docker, starting containers. Let's wait for that start containers. There we go. There's our TicketDB. Now we can go ahead and come back here and try this again. This is why you always test these things out, because you don't want to assume something's going to work the same way. You want to make sure that you are testing. Okay, now we can hit execute again, this same path, so it's should be fine. When we do, we get a 200 message and we get our 3 tickets we have in the system. So there we go. We've got a working Swagger. We've got our working database again. Everything's working. So it looks like we are all set up. That's all it takes for Swagger. I don't want to belabor this too much. I'm breaking out the next few videos into smaller chunks because we're going to just do one little chunk at a time. That you can easily reference back to a specific chunk. So this is just the first one, Swagger. I'll try and speed them up a bit because they are smaller chunks, but we're going to get into next going through and adding the rest of our endpoints, because right now we only have the one endpoint, which is our Git, but we're going to move on to our other endpoints, which are going to map out to, actually I should bring this back up. They're going to map out to our store procedures. So if we look at our store procedures, we have our Git and Git all. We haven't done Git yet. We're going to do that. And then we'll do insert, update, and delete, and work on all of those. Okay, so that's coming up next. If you want to get ahead and try it out, they're super easy. They really are. Not much to do, but each of them has a little bit different how we're going to do it. And yes, you need to make sure that we're using the correct verbs here. So we're going to use a get for getting things. We're going to use post, put, and delete for our different values. Okay, so that's coming up next. But until then, thanks for watching. And as always, I am Tim Corey.